that Wyoming will be your new home.
Life on the Red Horse Ranch. Well, things don't look so well for the Red Horse Ranch these days. It was only because Sheriff Simpkins was afraid of rattlesnakes that he was prevented from serving an attachment on Sam Carter's entire herd of cattle. But everyone's still confident that something will happen to save the Red Horse Ranch. Let's join the boys.
I like mountain music, good old mountain music, played by a real hillbilly band. Give me rural rhythm, let me sway right with 'em. We think the melodies are grand. I've heard Hawaiians play from the land of the wicky-wacky, but I must say that they can't beat turkey and the strawback cracky. I like mountain music, good old mountain music, played by a real hillbilly band. I like mountain music, good old mountain music, played by a real hillbilly band. Give me rural rhythm, let me sway right with it. We think the melodies are grand. I've heard Hawaiians play from the land of the wicky-wacky, but I must say,
Bud can't be turkey and a strawback cracky.
Played by a real hillbilly band, some band.
I wonder how Sheriff Simpson would like that, and him coming out here to hear some music.
Yeah, he did plenty of dancing, but it wasn't for music.
I thought sure Idaho shot his big toe off there once.
I don't think the sheriff was hurt none. He hightailed it out of here like a coyote with a stick of dynamite on his tail.
That didn't help Mr. Carter any, though. I sure feel sorry for him.
No, that herd out there may carry the Red Horse brand, but it ain't worth much to Dad now, with the sheriff trying to serve an attachment against it. Well, he ain't did it yet.
Well, I think that Dad enjoyed the fun with the sheriff as much as we did. He did his share of laughing.
Well, I can't imagine the sheriff being as scared of rattlesnakes and guns as he was.
Well, once you hear one of them rattlesnakes buzzing in your ear, you'll know just how the sheriff felt.
Say, you know, that reminds me of the time I lost my job when I was working for the Running W outfit. Old Buck Steele was foreman of that outfit.
Uh-oh, there he goes.
Well, did you have some trouble with him, Idaho?
Well, Buck was all right. We got along as well as anybody could, but it was them rattlesnakes that sent me packing off at the Running W.
Now, don't tell me you were scared of rattlesnakes, Idaho.
No, I wasn't scared of rattlesnakes. Now, you keep quiet, Cheyenne, and let me tell this to Tenderfoot. He's the only one around here that's got manners enough to listen.
He's the only one around here that ain't heard it before.
Tenderfoot?
Yeah?
Come down here a minute,
Well, that's Alabam calling me from down at the pasture corral. You'll have to finish that later, Idaho.
Yeah, I knowed something would happen. Strike us a chord there, Arizona, and let Saintly gets back.
on your mind, Alabam?
You've been keeping to yourself what I've told you about Bradford, haven't you?
Why, of course. That's just between you and me, Alabam. Well, why'd you ask?
Well, I've just been talking to Mr. Carter. Seems he asked me a heap of questions about what I've been doing and where I've been going. I never saw him that way before.
I haven't breathed a word of it, Alabam. Have you found out anything else?
Well, I ain't sure. Have you been watching Red here like I told you to?
Yes, but I'll admit I can't see anything unusual about him, except that he still runs away.
Well, come over here a minute. Come here, Red. That's it. A little closer. How are you today, boy?
But what is it that you say is so strange about Red, Alabam?
Why, Tenderfoot, look there at Red's fetlocks.
Yeah?
You see that dust?
Why, of course, but what's unusual about that?
Well, you don't see any dust on his hoofs, do you? Or anywhere else on his legs. There's something that makes that dust hang to his fetlocks. Can you figure it out?
I'm afraid you've got me there, Alabam. But anyhow, what could that have to do with Bradford or Mr. Carter?
Tenderfoot, I don't think I'll even tell you what I got on my mind till I'm right sure. But say, feel like riding a little bit?
Oh, sure, whatever you say, Alabam.
I think you and I had better ride into Danville before long and see if there's a letter from that El Paso sheriff about Bradford. It wouldn't hurt any to learn something about him right now.
But, Alabam, don't you suppose you ought to stay here with the herd?
Oh, there's no use bothering about them too much. We've got more important things to think about. Come on. I see Rose and Carter joining the boys down the corral there.
Beside the western sea, and who knows someday maybe my dreams will all come true.
Oh, Alabam, I was wondering where you were.
Oh, I was just taking care of Tenderfoot here, Rose.
Well, you sure missed out on some pretty singing.
Well, I think there's plenty more. I see Texas got his guitar up there on the fence.
go on,
Let's see
Tex.
what you can do with it, Tex.
Sure, sing us a song.
Here we are. As I was walking down the Baltimore street, says to the captain, says, what you got to eat? What you do? Oh, jingle mangle, shingle mangle, shingle mangle, jingle mangle, Johnny, what you do? Oh, jingle mangle, shingle mangle, shingle mangle, jingle mangle, Johnny, what you do? Yelled at me and he ordered me to stand with the shingles on my feet and a shovel in my hand. What you do? Oh, jingle mangle, shingle mangle, shingle mangle, jingle mangle, Johnny, what you do? Jingle mangle, shingle mangle, shingle mangle, jingle mangle, Johnny, what you do? First thing give me was an old gum coat. The buckles on it with the buckle around my throat. What you do? Jingle mangle, shingle mangle, shingle mangle, jingle mangle, jingle mangle, shingle mangle, Johnny, what you do? Run up on the hillside, run in the wire. Could never shoot a gun when a gun's spitting fire. What you do? Jingle mangle, shingle mangle, shingle mangle, jingle mangle, jingle mangle, shingle mangle, Johnny, what you do?
Oh, that's pretty, Tex.
Oh, hello, Mr. Carter.
Hello, Dad. Come on up.
Well, boys, you've all been mighty loyal to me the last few weeks. I never got along this far without you.
You've got a lot of friends here, Dad, no matter what happens. Say, while I'm thinking about it, me and Tenderfoot's riding into town.
Yeah.
Well, now, I want you here just as long as the herd is still on the Red Horse, Alabam. So don't you make too many plans.
Oh, me and Nellie sticking by you, Dad. Get up, Nellie. Let's show 'em a little spirit.
Yeah, right. Say, Idaho, what was that you started to tell me about losing your job over on the Running W?
Idaho, have you been telling that young fellow that story, too?
Oh, go ahead, Idaho. What's it all about?
Thanks, Rose. You give me the encouragement I needed.
That's the first time I ever saw Idaho need encouragement to tell a story.
Go on, Idaho.
Don't mind Arizona, Tenderfoot.
No, I won't.
Well, sir, it was over on the Running W. A fella by the name of Tom Burns and me was out fencing in a section of pasture.
Yeah.
Well, sir, that day was about as cold as ever I seed it. Cold as a sheep's nose, you might say. Yes, sir. But we went on putting up that fence. Long toward evening, we run out of fence posts. Well, Tom and me started out looking for enough posts to finish up that section, and right there's where the rattlesnakes come in.
Oh, rattlesnakes.
Oh, they wasn't nothing at all to worry about, Rose. We come to a den of rattlesnakes. There must have been 5,000 or 10,000 snakes in there. Yes, sir. Well, some of them had crawled out of that den. They must have been 6 to 14 feet long. Yes, and they laid there stretched out, froze stiff as you please.
Froze?
Sure was. Well, I says to Tom, here's where we get our fence posts.
Oh, no.
So we throwed our ropes around a bunch of them and drug 'em to where we was fencing. I'd hold the snake by the rattles with the rattles in the ground, and Tom, he'd hammer 'em on the blunt end. I made right good fence posts, too. Well, we got through long about 7 o'clock, finished up all the section. It got warmer the next day, so the boss, he rode over to see how we'd done. Tom and me was feeling pretty good, thinking the boss would be glad we'd saved him so much money on fence posts. But by jacks, the boss come riding back as mad as a wet hen. Sure was. And do you know, he called me and Tom to his house, give us our pay, and told us to pack out of the country as fast as we could get our hot rolls together.
Well, but Idaho, why did he want to fire you after you'd saved him all that money?
Well, I'll tell you, Tenderfoot. When the sun commenced shining, them gall-darn snakes thawed out and carried off 2 miles of barbed wire fence.
We didn't know Idaho had it in him. Well, as long as all the folks on the Red Horse Ranch aren't worrying too much, we might as well forget about their troubles, too. But remember, Alabam still has only a few more days in which to find out the truth about Bradford and save the ranch.